Former President Donald Trump's lawyer is testifying before a federal grand jury today in Washington.
That's right. This is part of the Justice Department's investigation into classified materials found at Mar-a-Lago last summer. At the same time, the New York City grand jury is mulling an indictment of Trump in a separate case. They are not expected to meet today. That case covers the campaign finance issue involving hush money payments to Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. That panel is expected back in court on Monday.
CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now from Washington. So, Caitlin, how are all these investigations impacting Trump politically?
Hey, Elaine. Well, there are a lot of investigations, and sometimes you need kind of a whiteboard to map out all of them because it's very confusing. But there are also lots of layers to this. Let's talk first about this, what has been known as kind of the Stormy Daniels case. What we've seen, and that's in New York, what we've seen over the past several days as Trump has teased an indictment, and we're still waiting for any word on that, we've seen Republicans really rally to his defense, even those who have disagreed with him on some elements, kind of using this to argue that it's a issue of political overreach and a political kind of indictment, potential indictment. And that's interesting because you are at a time where Republicans are trying to figure out how to govern, how to kind of potentially move on from Trump, but also include his base and not to get too distant from him politically. So that's an argument there. But some of these others, remain to be seen. The documents case, as you mentioned, is also one that the former president has taken to argue that the judicial branch has, is going too far. Of course, we've also learned that there have been documents cases involving the current president when he was vice president and former vice president Mike Pence. So it's complicated. Right now, the view from the Trump team is that this is something, at least in the New York case, is something that could embolden the campaign. But it's also worth noting that, politically, no one wants to be running for president while under indictment. That's traditionally not a good place to be. No. So the politics have to kind of play itself out, but it's a much longer road. Right now, Republicans are rallying to his defense. Whether there's an appetite to stick by him as these other investigations continue remains to be seen.
And Caitlin, you bring a good point about it being just not a good look. Speaking of optics, President Trump is holding a rally this weekend in Waco, Texas. Some of us will remember 3 decades ago, the Branch Davidian massacre. More than 80 people were killed. It was a conflict with the federal government that led to that. What can you tell us about why the Trump campaign is choosing to hold a campaign there now?
Well, Errol, it's a really good question. The campaign has dismissed those parallels, arguing that Waco is a centrally located place in Texas, that a lot of candidates have campaigned there, a lot of Republicans have spent time there. But it's hard to ignore that kind of symbolism because some of Trump's supporters have pointed it out, especially in light of the investigations that we were all talking about. You've seen a lot of his supporters, especially those on the far right, really evoke this kind of federal overreach sentiment in their support for Trump. So those parallels have been drawn by those who are supporting him. And this is going to be a significant rally because it's actually the first that he's held since announcing his run for president. What's been interesting to watch over the course of his new campaign is that he hasn't really done any sort of big campaign events. He's had a couple of campaign events, but largely he's been operating from Mar-a-Lago. And so this is going to be the first time that we see him in this kind of environment. We'll see kind of how he talks about this potential looming indictment, as he has been over the past week and trying to raise money off of it as well. And we'll also potentially hear from his supporters about what they think of this broader landscape. We also know that, he has Ron DeSantis in his sights. He's been talking a lot about him. The Florida governor has also been kind of weighing in on Trump as well. And so that is a battle that is certainly heating up as well.
Yeah, a changing political landscape. Waco, by the way, not far from former President Bush's sprawling ranch in Crawford, Texas, a place I'm well familiar with, having covered the Bush administration. Caitlin Huey-Burns in Washington. Caitlin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.